Welcome back to Developing Developer. This is Abhishek and I'm here with another video on dependency injection. So what is dependency injection? Why do we need it? So if you Google what is dependency injection, you will find a definition something like this. Dependency injection is a design pattern used to implement IOC. It allows the creation of the dependent object outside of the class and provide those objects through different ways. So there's a lot of things going on here, like what is IOC, what is dependent objects, and how to create them outside the class and provide those things, those objects to the class, and what are the different ways of doing so. So let's understand all of these things one by one. So before you are going to understand what is dependency injection, you need to understand what is dependency. What is dependency? Dependency means one thing cannot work or cannot be created or cannot function without the other. So if I say my object A is dependent on object B, then without object B, I cannot create or make object A functional. Again, let's move to some concrete examples, like so that you have a much more clear picture. We all have eaten pasta in our life, or at least we have seen it. What are pasta? We know it. So there are different type of pastas, and what all of them have in common is there is a sauce and there's pasta. To make pasta or to make a good pasta, we need sauce, and without the sauce, we cannot make pasta. It's boiled something. So we can say that pasta is dependent on the sauce, because without the sauce we cannot make the pasta. But if you only have the sauce, you can use to eat nachos or something else, or we can use sauce somewhere else. So pasta is dependent on the sauce, but the sauce is not dependent on the pasta. It's individual. So that is what is basic idea, what we can say what dependencies are. So how it is relevant, how this example is relevant to our coding. So you got a gist, what is dependency. So make it a little bit concrete. Let's say I have a simple object. I have two classes. One is class base and another is class dependent. Okay. So if my basics class is dependent on this, that means if I'm having a constructor, in that constructor I need to have a well. Let's make this dependent of type dependent. Okay, so now in my constructor, just to make this basic class object, I need a dependent object. So something like this. Dependent. So you can see I can have this constructor, and without the object of dependent I cannot do anything, or my object of basics is not created properly. This is tightly coupled. We can say this code is tightly coupled. Moving on with the pasta example, we can say the pasta and the sauce are tightly coupled, because without the sauce you cannot have the pasta. So you can say tightly coupled. If I write the same thing, so this basic class will be our pasta class, so I can call it pasta, and there will be a dependent class, so class sauce. Okay, and in the constructor, so I need this, so let's say private val sauce, and it can be, you can see without the sauce I cannot create an object of pasta. For those who don't know Kotlin, I can make it like this, like it is a little bit like Java. Now you can see without the sauce, if the object of sauce is not there, I cannot create the pasta object, and it is tightly coupled. So if I change the type of sauce, let's say I want to create a pasta of red sauce or white sauce, or for this example let's say we have green sauce or yellow sauce. That means without the proper sauce, or without the object of the sauce of the corresponding type, I cannot create the object of pasta. So they are tightly coupled. This is how dependency works. This is what we mean when we say two classes are dependent on each other, not each other. Class A is dependent on class B. So how to make it how to incorporate dependency injection, or how to understand dependency injection with this example. So earlier we were making pasta with the sauce that was, we were creating pasta, let's say red sauce pasta. What we are going to do? We are going to boil the pasta and make, in another pan we can cook the red sauce. And if the red sauce is not cooked properly or some problem occurs, our pasta is not cooked. So what is dependency? Dependency injection means that I, instead of cooking or creating my own object or the dependent object, I'm going to inject the object, or I'm going to provide the object outside of the class. And the question is how? There are different ways you can have dependency injection. You can have field injections, you can have constructor injection, you can have setter injections. I won't be going to that part right now, maybe later in this video, yes, definitely. But right now, let's understand what is dependency injection with respect to this example. Now we have our pasta, and we are creating our own sauce. So dependency injection means that we are going to provide that sauce to the pasta maker. So let's say I am the guy who is making pasta. I'm boiling the pasta right now, and so you come to me and say, Abhishek, I need pasta. So instead of saying that, you come with me, Abhishek, make me red sauce pasta, and here is this sauce. You see the difference? Earlier when you were coming to me and saying, Abhishek, I need a pasta, I was going to make this red sauce and boil the pasta and cook the pasta for you. If you need white sauce, then I'm going to make the white sauce and cook the pasta for you. Now you are coming to me and saying, Abhishek, I need pasta, or Abhishek, I need red sauce pasta and here is the sauce. I need white sauce pasta and here is the sauce. So you are providing the dependency or the sauce to me. That is how dependency injection works. If you still have some doubts or confusion why I'm doing that, or this is not a real life scenario, I'll give you another example so that you can relate it more. You are able to relate it. We all have eaten ready to cook foods or ready to eat noodles or pastas. You have you seen something? Have you noticed something? The material with which they create the pasta is same, only the packet of the sauce changes. That is a perfect example of dependency injection. We have a sauce, we have pasta over there, and the pasta maker or the sauce maker that you get is the dependency. All you need to do is change the sauce. So if you get, so let's say I have 6 packets. I went to market and bought 6 packets of those. So let's say 3 of red sauce, 2 of white sauce, then 1 of yellow sauce. Make sense? And I came home, I opened the red sauce pasta packet, but I realized, wait, I want the yellow sauce. I want to create the yellow sauce pasta. What I'll do, I'll open the yellow sauce pasta and get the packet out of it, boil my pasta and use that packet. You see what happened over here? Instead of creating my own sauce, I'm using that dependency from the outside, that is outside the packet, and I'm getting those dependency, and my pasta is decoupled. Even though I initially opened the packet to create red sauce pasta, but I was able to swap the red sauce with the yellow sauce. That is how dependency injection works. That is one of the benefits of dependency injection. That is, it makes your code or class independent. The frequency with which you're going to change your code, it decreases, because you are changing the type or the attribute or the dependency at runtime. That is one example. That is one of the major benefits of dependency injection and why you should use it. Coming to our example, a little bit coding what I'm saying. So let's say I have another example. Let's say instead of sauce, let me call it red sauce. So red sauce. Okay. Then you say, Abhishek, no, I want white sauce pasta. I'll say, okay, fine, I'll make a white sauce pasta for you. And here you go. And I go to the pasta class and update it. You see, I'm updating to white. Oh no, I can't do that. One second, I'll use this. I'll update it. You see, white sauce. You see, even though when I change the type of sauce, I had to change the class itself, even though it has nothing to do with it. This means they are tightly coupled. So the sauce with which I'm going to make the pasta is tightly coupled with the pasta itself. So how we can improve this with dependency injection? For that, we need to provide the dependency from outside. So how we are going to do that? We can do that with multiple ways, that is field injection, constructor injection, and third is the setter injection. Usually when you're doing dependency injection, or most of the frameworks, the popular frameworks that we have out there, have a mechanism to do it for you. So if you are using Spring Boot, it has support for dependency injection. If you're using Angular, it has uh, inbuilt support for dependency injection. If you are an Android developer, then you can use Coin or Hilt or Dagger. There are so many various options out there to perform dependency injection for you. I'll keep this example really simple. Let's try to understand the constructor injection. Let me create a main method so that you can understand what's going on under the hood. So I have a main method, sorry for the typo, and we have the main method. This class will have pasta and pasta. So if I have a function like this, so let's say print, we have a function get pasta, okay, and it's going to return with sauce. Let me add the return type and make it an expression body because it's just a single line. For this I can add a toString, I can override it, and I can return red, and similarly for this, for white sauce, I can have the white sauce pasta. 1 second, I made a mistake and here it is. For this it will say white sauce. So if I go here and say print ln and I say pasta, 1 second, there is one problem. Why this is not working?
A few moments later.
Okay. This is not a string. Yes, it will work now. So if I run the code, it will say I am pasta with sauce red. It should be red sauce instead. This makes much more sense. Give it some time to run. And okay, I have to write a toString method, or I have to write get pasta for this. So dot get pasta, and now run it. You see in the println it says I am pasta with white sauce. So if I want to create a pasta with red sauce, all I have to do is, you see I am changing the frequency at which I am changing the code. That is what I'm trying to say, that with dependency, since these two are tightly coupled, if I want to create a red sauce pasta, I have to change the code. I have to go to the pasta class and change it. Now I'll show, now it's red, it says red sauce, so it is working fine. I'll zoom it a little. Okay, it says, I hope this is fine. So it says red sauce. If I change it, if I want to make a white sauce, I have to do white sauce. Since I'm having an object of white sauce, it will say I am pasta with white sauce. So if I run this, give it some time to run, and it says I am pasta with white sauce. So if somebody comes to me and says I want red sauce pasta, I'll update this object and sauce. You see, I have to stop the application, run the application again. It's not, the type of pasta is not changing. I'm frequently changing the code. I'm frequently changing the type of the class. So here I'll use dependency injection now. So let's create an interface sauce. You can have an abstract class as well if you are much comfortable with that. So for that I'll use sauce, then again sauce. Now we have an interface for each of the sources that we have here. Remember, I talked about we are going to provide those dependencies, and I said there are three ways: field injection, constructor injection, and the setter injection. In this example, we are going to use constructor injection. So how we are going to do constructor injection? That is very simple. I'll provide source over here and of type source. So now it can have a source which will have a method fun get source, and it will return an object of type source. Sorry to interrupt, but while recording this I made a small mistake that I with the return type of the interface. As you can see over here, the return type of this interface, like of this particular function, it can be anything but the interface itself. So if I want to return a string, it can be string or any other data type like double, int, whatever is your use case or whatever you are trying to do with the function. It can be anything but the return, but the same as the interface. I made this small mistake. If you want a detailed explanation like how what I did wrong or how to correct it, at the end of the video I've attached additional clip wherein I have explained like how to solve this problem. So coming back to the video, so if I have this, so instead of toString I can have get source. One second, it's returning. Okay, what I'll do, I'll leave it as toString only. What I'll do, I'll override it, the source, override the method, and this will return a red source object. Same thing for this, but instead of red source it will return white source. You see, now since it is using source, it will have a method. It is using an interface, it will have a method get source, and everything will be same. It should be of type source, and okay, val is cannot be assigned to val. What is the problem? Okay, this makes much more sense. Yes, the name of the variable was same. That was the problem. That's why it was saying add this. Whew, too much work. Okay, now this time it is asking for the type of source that we want. So let's create two objects. Say one say red source. So red source, an object of red source, and val object of white source. So white. You see, I created the dependency outside the class. I'm not creating the dependency inside. If you see this class, if you see, I'm not creating the dependency over here. I'm creating the dependency right here. It is created outside the class. And now if say if a user comes to me and say I want a red source pass, I'll say no problem. It will be red sauce, and I'll say red sauce. Oh, this should be red sauce pasta. Why am I making this mistake? Pasta. Okay, now it is done. So this will be red sauce pasta and get pasta. Works fine. Then let's run this class. You see, it will say I am red sauce pasta. That means everything is functional. So now let's say I want to create something. I want to create a white sauce pasta. No problem at all. Go here and replace with white sauce pasta. And instead of providing red sauce, write white sauce. You see, when I'm changing the type of sauce, I'm not going to the pasta class and changing it. That's what is the power of dependency injection is. We have moved the logic of creation or the dependent object outside of the class, and we are providing it through a constructor. Same thing can be done using a setter or a field injection. They have their own challenges, advantages and disadvantages for now, but the simplest one is the constructor injection. That's what I'm focusing on over here. Now let's say you want to change the dependency on runtime. So you can do something like this. You can have when, and you can have if the user is saying, you can have something like this. If the input is equal to red, then create this, else create this. This makes much more sense. You can see at runtime you can change the type. Right now I don't have an input, that's why it is coming red, but that's how you can change the dependency at runtime, and you can create different type of objects at runtime. This was all about, you need to understand the basics of dependency injection and how it works. One might say that, Abhishek, why you are not using abstract method pattern or any other pattern to create the object and implement dependency injection over there? Yes, I can do that. Yes, that is a valid solution for this particular use case, but this video is not about that. Right now, for this factory method pattern, we can have this particular the creation of this object and the pass object outside of the class, of outside of the driver class. We can do that, definitely do that, but this example is not for that. This one is just for understanding what is dependency and what is dependency injection. Just to recap, just to give you what happened over here, earlier what we were doing, we were creating the object of source inside of the class. So whenever we wanted to change the type of pasta, we had to change the type of the object that we're going to create. So now, to implement dependency injection, to make our code loosely coupled or decouple the dependency and the dependent, what we did, we moved the creation of the object outside of the class that was in the main method, and we are providing those dependency through the constructor. And since that is provided through the constructor, that means whenever we want to make a change to the type of source that we want to create the pasta with, we don't have to go to the pasta class. I'll do one more thing. I'll create another type. Let's say I create a green sauce, and it is obviously of type sauce. So we have to override a method get sauce, and it will return an object of green sauce. Obviously I can make it an expression body if you like. Then I can override toString method and return green. Again, I can make it an expression body everywhere. I don't know why I didn't do that. That is so weird. Okay, now we have a green sauce. So we won't be updating the pasta class. We can simply go here and add green sauce pasta, and we can have pasta and pass the green sauce object, and it will work like a charm. Println then green sauce pasta dot get pasta. It is showing an error because I don't have green sauce. So let's create green sauce now and green sauce, and it is working fine. You see, we created a green sauce. When I am going to run this code, it will say I am pasta with green sauce. Now I am going to run it. Now it's running. You see, it says I am red sauce, I am white sauce, I am green sauce. It should, I'm sorry, I am pasta with green sauce, white sauce, and red sauce. Hi again. So this is what we have done. So if you have made the changes that I suggested, I asked you to change the return type of this function. So this function, so it is returning string. So basically what I'm trying to do is, earlier it was returning an object of source. Now, since I'm already passing the instance of source in our pasta class, and which we are creating an instance over here, and we are passing that instance over here, and again we are calling the function get pasta. What was happening over here, when I was calling the function dot get sauce, so get sauce was returning an instance of sauce, but I'm already passing an instance of sauce, so there was no point of creating another instance. So I'm already having an instance over here that I'm passing, and the pasta constructor of pasta was creating another instance, was getting another instance because of this method. As you can see, when I'm overriding this method, it was creating another instance over here for white sauce, and similarly for the green sauce. So creating another instance for when I'm passing an instance doesn't make any sense. So that is why I asked you to change the return type of this method. So for this particular example, so that you don't get confused or there are not a lot of changes in this particular example, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the return type of sauce from of this method get sauce to string. So accordingly, the name of this method will be get sauce type. to make the change at all the places, what you can do, you can just press Control Shift plus F6 and it will change the return type at all the places. So type, and there all the places the name got updated but the return type didn't. So you can, what you can do, you can manually change it. And lastly, since we need string but all of them are returning object of source of type source, what we can do, we can return red. Similarly over here we'll return white, and over here we'll return green. Now since this one is returning the string, we don't need this method. We don't have to override toString method. We can remove it, clean the code little bit, like remove the white spaces in between, and over here we don't have to call the method get source type over here. All we need to pass is the source. So what I'm doing over here is I'm having creating an instance of source over here. I'm passing that particular instance to the constructor of pasta. That source instance is getting assigned to source object over here, class variable over here, and I'm using that instance or that variable over here in the method. Now as you can see, to call this method, what we have to do, we have to do get source, and as soon as you press enter, the method will be updated. Now if you run the program, the update is exactly same. And that's all for the correction. Thank you very much for watching. If you want more videos like this, definitely hit me up. If you like the video, don't forget to click on the like button, and to support this channel, click on the subscribe button. I recently got 100 subscribers, so I'm super excited to make more videos, and that one subscribe is going to really help me a lot. Thank you very much and happy coding.